Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with K Montez Art Studio, and today we have a fun little relaxing sketchbook drawing session. Nothing too serious. I was on the phone with a good friend of mine, PJ, the Portland Art Studio here on YouTube, and we were chatting and discussing some things that were challenging to us. And that topic was faces. So we decided to kind of tackle drawing cartoon like faces. And she sent over some images that were from a book that she had that was very interesting, and it helped me to kind of loosen up and be less restrictive. So this first little session that we had was a kind of like a almost passport photo style sketching, and very bad. They were all pretty bad in my eyes. I had fun though, and that's all that matters. So I was using my MD paper sketchbook, and I completely forgot that this sketchbook is really bad with watercolor. So there was a lot of pulling, a lot of puddling. So I kind of had to reserve a lot of the water and just stain it in a way and make sure that I was sort of constantly dabbing the paper and absorbing some of that water. So the watercolors that I'm using here are Daniel Smith, and I have a video up of me selecting these colors. And the tin that I'm using is actually a sample perfume tin that I thought was perfect to create a travel kit with. And I've been using this tin for some time now. It's so perfect. I didn't think that I would really love this combination of colors, and I do. I love every single color in this pan. The other tin that I'm using is actually PJ's homemade watercolors and a couple other extra colors that are in there, like the orange is an M-gram watercolor. I think the yellow is a Sennelier, and then the purple is a Delaroni. And another color pan that I'm using is the Royal Land Nickel off to the side, and you can see that spread out like a fan deck. I really enjoy that Delaroni. That one's a whole lot of fun for compact travel. It is very pigmented. You can see that right away as soon as I use some of the red, that teal blue. I love when watercolors appear to be sort of student grade, but they have that good saturated, very high pigmented color. So this is the point where I realized that, shoot, I shouldn't have been using watercolor on this paper, but it's fine. Once it dried up, things were fine. It was a little crinkly, but nothing terrible. So I used this as a form of warm-up, a form of practice, and I loosened up, and we were showing each other where our progress landed and where things were. And so that's when I realized that I needed to practice. So the reason why I have been practicing faces is because it's something that I run away from often, and I just don't like portraits. I don't understand what it is about faces and eyes that kind of creep me out. I need to get over this fear. I think it might be a fear. I don't know. But I'm facing my challenges. And I'm also currently working on a self-portrait that is been a journey. This self-portrait has been taking me on a roller coaster ride. that I never expected to be on. I can't wait to make that video for you guys. It's turning out to be okay. There are days where I cry, literally, and there are days where I'm like, "Oh, this is so much fun. I love painting this." I don't know where this fear came from, or this sort of like hatred for portraits came from, because when I was in high school, all I did was draw eyeballs, draw noses. You know how like when you first start drawing and you kind of just like focus on an area. So I loved drawing eyes. I loved drawing noses. I was so into like people that did portraits and things like that. But somewhere along the lines, when I started painting my girls, I lost a passion for faces. So I'm not sure where that came from. So this second segment here, as you saw in those pages, we were creating different emotions. So we decided to move on, and I chose to create kind of clusters of people. And this page turned out really fun. I had a lot of fun sketching things out. And after I loosened up, I was not afraid to kind of be expressive with some of the emotions. I think it also helped that I was using the reference to kind of see what they did, and I would kind of alter what they did so that I can practice. I think when you're really stuck at doing something that you feel that you're bad at, the best thing that you can do is copy from reference so that you gain that muscle memory. Now, of course, copy into your sketchbook and kind of practice on your own. Don't use that as your work. But I did that a lot when I was in art school. Of course, we were actually required to kind of use references to replicate masters and do all types of kind of replications of things so that we can understand the sort of the idea of certain things, and also so you can create your own diary inside of your brain, or your own dictionary. I think that's a better word to use, like to have these different images that you can draw from, literally draw from, like pull and make. So I think I might do this a little bit more, just to get that out of my head and kind of have some references, because I think that's what it comes from. I think that I'm afraid to draw people and make them ugly and not make them look like themselves. I used to, I don't know. I have to dive deep into this story. I think primarily my reason that's like forefront in my head is my fear of making someone look like they're not supposed to look. And that's part of the reasons why I never took any self-portrait or portrait commissions, any requests for people, anything that related to faces and people. I would get these type of requests all the time, and I turned them down every single time. But this form of face creation is definitely in my alley. I have to say that first page was very challenging for me because there were some not so attractive things on that sheet. But as I went along, I felt more comfortable, and then it soon clicked in my head. The reason that I don't like this is because I don't practice it, and because I don't make an effort to learn how to do it better. So I think that going forward, when I do dive into faces or sort of illustrations, I will definitely reference other illustrators and sort of build my own style. This is almost like me learning the alphabets all over again with illustration. So, long story short, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. I think I'm having fun, and I think I will practice this a little bit more. Although it's not something that I really see myself doing too often, whenever I do need a break, I think I will doodle and kind of just make silly faces. So I'm curious to know how many people are afraid to draw certain things. Like some people might be afraid to draw birds, or maybe some people are afraid to draw animals. Things that usually have like a life form to them tend to be a little bit more intimidating, especially when they have a direct representation. And something about relating back to them as humans and having things having eyes to them might be my issue. I'm not sure. But I'm going to tackle this challenge and I'm going to try my best. I'm not going to say that I'm going to love it because I don't know if I'll love it. You know, my thing is landscapes. I love drawing bodies. I love drawing women with no faces. That's my favorite thing. Something about their emotions through their positioning in their figures make me much more relieved than showing their emotion through their face. So now it's kind of time to transform that. I don't think that I need to have that be in my repertoire of art things, but I'm finding excuses not to do it. But because it's so hard to me, I think I need to challenge myself and kind of step outside of my comfort zone and just break loose. And who knows where this will end up. I did have fun. I do love illustration. I have a really deep passion for illustration, but I don't create illustration at all. I love looking at children's books. I love seeing other illustrative styles. I dream of being able to make a book one day. Maybe this is the start. I don't know. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope that you enjoyed this little illustrative people session, understanding faces, facing your fears, learning how to step out of your comfort zone and grow in your own art and be better for yourself and explore things. I love exploring. I have a whole segment, a whole playlist on exploring mixed media, exploring art, exploring yourself and getting to know who you are as an artist. I think it's super important to kind of step out of that place so that you can go back into your comfort zone even better. I do believe that being able to step away from what you're used to doing makes you stronger in those areas that you know you're excelling at. I also wanted to give a special shout out to my friend PJ, the Portland Art Studio. Definitely check out her channel and see her version of this little sketch. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.